on. We'll wait for a few minutes and
Sure.
I asked Chad and Alicia to share. Since we're going to record, I thought it'd be great for them to share because they both have such great testimonies.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it would be really awesome for them to share so that people have some. I just know it made an impact for me when it was testimonies from people I know or people from my team, or even if I didn't directly know them, if it was this person's on my team, I saw her face on the square and they share. It's like, oh, that makes you realize, okay, this is real stuff.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, and Barbara is here. Hi, Barbara. I don't know if she can hear me. Shalom. I don't know if Barbara can hear me. Well, Barbara, if you can hear me, hello.
Okay. I don't have my speakers on.
Is that Aunt Bobby?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hey.
It's Jen.
I hope you can't see me because I don't.
We can't.
Okay, good.
Okay. I made it though.
Did you just put a piece of tape or something over the screen?
I did.
You're so funny.
I love it. That's something I would do. Oh, look, now it's red. It's a red tape. I love it. Well, I can't see you, but I'm happy and thankful you joined us, Barbara. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've been trying to get logged on. It's just taking me a while.
You made it.
Great. You did great. We're just a minute over, so we'll wait just a second.
Oh, good.
I know Alicia said she might be a little late because she had lacrosse practice, I believe.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, so she said she was going to do her best to get on here on time, but she might be a little late.
That's great. That's okay. I'm grateful for anybody. Did everybody have a good day? Long day? Good day? Jen, you've had the longest month of your life.
Right.
Chad, how was your day?
It's good. It was
good.
pretty non-eventful, I guess.
Yeah, non-eventful is always good. Chad, you have shrunk.
Working on it.
Sideways, we can't see you. Like, seriously, you've shrunk. They've both shrunk. See? I can hardly see that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Doing good. I can tell places where I'm thinning down, but
your face and your neck, everything is just, that's amazing. Well, should we go ahead and I think that's probably from who I have. Chad, Sonia, Jen. Did you know Jen was Mesa going to pop on? She said she might.
She didn't respond back to me, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, we'll just go ahead. Chad, since we are recording this, so I really would love to have you just share your testimony because I thought it was pretty significant.
Yeah. So I guess kind of my big thing was I was wanting to kind of get a handle on my blood pressure. I started probably about 3 years ago seeing a chiropractor because I was having issues with blood pressure. And I went to my medical doctor and I thought, this is kind of crazy because he put me on blood pressure medicine. I said, I'm 30 years old and I'm on blood pressure medicine. I got to figure something out. Yeah. And I decided to try to start talking to a chiropractor and seeing all this stuff. So he got me into supplements and all this stuff. So I started learning a lot about supplements and kind of doing my own research on that and then talking to him and continuing to go to a chiropractor and got off my blood pressure medicine. And I was kind of just doing a lot of stuff on my own and my blood pressure kind of started to creep up a little bit again. And so I decided, okay, I'm at a point where I need to try something, whether it's go see an internist or there was another natural doctor. I mean, in Tennessee, they're not actually considered doctors. I can't practice. But go to his office and I thought, okay, I can do that. But it's about a $350 consultation fee just to start for a 2-hour visit. And that didn't include anything, just a consultation. And so I said, well, I could do that or give Plexus a try and, see what that does for me because I'd done a lot of research on just the ingredients and then talking to people, as far as what's in the products and whatnot. And just from my own research, I would research ingredients just on Google and not just through Plexus to see what the medical community is saying about these products or what, or these ingredients and what other nutritionists are saying. And so I kind of decided, I got to a place where I decided, well, I can give this a shot because, if it doesn't work, I can still go to see the other guy. And so I started on it, and that was probably about 3 or 4 months ago, something like that. And decided to just go full bore and, start running on the treadmill and everything at the same time. And I was like, I've got 2 kids. I've got a 4-year-old and a 9-month-old, and my wife. And I thought, if I'm going to be around for them, I need to do something. So I'm just going to go for it. And my blood pressure had started creeping up to around like 140 something, mid 140s over like mid 90s, 95, somewhere in there. And so after starting on that routine and taking the products, was consistently around 120 over 80, and even a little under that. If I just got off the treadmill and took my supplements and taken a shower and everything, and best case scenario, I was about 119 over 79.
Wow.
And it was like just totally different. And so
that's dramatic. That's so dramatic. So how did you notice any difference in how you felt physically?
Yeah. So for me, when my blood pressure would start elevating, I could feel it kind of in the back of my head, and just kind of sluggish and just didn't feel good. And, drinking a lot of water and kind of all the stuff you go through, taking the products just kind of started making me have more energy, and just kind of a natural byproduct of it. And, it made running on the treadmill easier because I felt more like it.
Yeah.
And then, not having the concern, anxiety is always a big thing that a lot of people face, including myself. And, being 30 something years old now and facing blood pressure issues adds a lot of anxiety, and added to, our lives as Americans with our jobs being stressful and raising 2 kids and, all that fun stuff. It's just an added anxiety that I didn't need. And I just kind of having that peace of mind, helped a lot.
That's so good. That's so good. I'm so glad you shared that, because I think blood pressure is one of those topics that it creeps up in almost every conversation. If you're over, I feel like if from 30 on, everybody seems to have blood pressure issue. And I'm sure a lot of it is like the foods we eat, the way they're grown, the way the animals are treated, the antibiotics they take, the growth hormones, all of those things go coursing through our bodies, and their ramifications. And so that is one subject that is huge. And it's not just like you just don't want to feel better. It's like, it's a big deal. It's about longevity and having an actual quality of life and a life that, you can see 70, 80, 90,
Right.
So it's a big deal. My dad died at 58 and he had severely high blood pressure. And now as a 51-year-old, I'm very aware with my own body too, with blood pressure issue. It cut his life short. It was one of the factors that cut his life short. So it's a big deal. And I love your testimony. I'm grateful you shared it with us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you might hear some noise in the background. I apologize for that. We have dogs here, so they are greeting somebody. So anyway, thank you, Chad, for sharing that. That's awesome. When Alicia pops on, she can share with us. And Jen, I know, why don't you go ahead and share? I know this wasn't planned either, but I know you and Bella had such dramatic results with your health issues. I would love for you to share, especially since this is recorded and everybody's going to have a chance to see it. I want them to see that this is faces they know, people they know on our teams, that it's real people having real results. And some of them are dramatic. And sometimes it is just about people feeling better and having better energy and sleeping better. And it's not dramatic. But that in itself is dramatic to me, I think. Because
yeah. So Bella is my 8-year-old little girl. And she, gosh, I can't remember. She's probably 1 or 2 and had just started complaining about her stomach hurting. And as a mom, you don't know why your child's stomach hurts. You think they have gas, or whatever. And so and it would be really random. It wasn't a consistent thing. And so we, by about 3 or 4, I started taking away just different things out of her diet, and nothing really seemed to help her. So finally we went and had some blood drawn, saw her pediatrician, and they said, you need to go see a specialist. So at the time we were in Massachusetts. So we went to Boston, and saw a specialist, and they did some more blood work and said, we're pretty sure she has celiac disease. And I said, no, that's just a big fad right now with this whole gluten thing. I don't buy it. You know, at the time she was 5. I'm like, no. And the doctor wanted to do a biopsy. You know, she had to go under. I'm at this point 8 months pregnant, super hormonal. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. We're not doing this. Absolutely not. My husband was, you know, the reason. And he was like, yes, we're going to do this. And so we did the biopsy, which apparently is the only true way of knowing if you have celiac disease. And it did come back positive. And so, you know, here's my 5-year-old little girl who is, you know, the reason she would go to bed crying at night with her stomach hurting. One of her side effects to celiac is constipation. And we're talking, I was actually talking to my doctor about her symptoms, and he said that constipation can actually be worse than labor pains. I had no idea. I have never experienced constipation, you know, like that anyways. And we're talking sitting on the toilet, rolling on the floor, crying in pain. And so to have your child and feeling completely helpless. And so they put us on Marilax and just different things, you know, and finally I was just like, we have to figure something out for her, you know. Obviously we went off of gluten, and she was eating gluten-free. And so she was doing better, but her constipation was still there. And I didn't want my child to be on these over-the-counter, you know, laxatives for the rest of her life. At the same time, I was having some stomach issues. And so I started researching, and I started thinking, oh, I might have leaky gut. So I'm, you know, doing research. Well, at the time, Cindi posts something on Facebook about leaky gut. And I was like, immediately, all right, Cindi, tell me everything you know about leaky gut, because I might have this. And so she starts telling me about Plexus and about the probiotics. Well, at this point, I had already started taking some probiotics from Walmart. Come to find out, Plexus probiotics are the same price as your generic Walmart probiotics. So I'm like, well, it's not going to hurt. And I kind of jumped all in as far as the triplex. And I said, well, let's just try it. It's not going to hurt us. Except for the fact that I took 3 probiotics the first night. And the next morning I thought I was going to die. And I called somebody and said, I think I'm dying. And she said, no, it's just working, but you're only supposed to take 1. So, yeah, it felt like I had the flu for 3 days after that. I learned my lesson very quickly. So I make sure to tell everybody to start off very slow. But Bella takes 2 now. She takes 2 ProBio, and she takes 2 to 3 BioCleanse every night. And she has not had any problems. We still keep her on a gluten-free diet, but her constipation is gone. And if she feels like, you know, it gets a little, like I kind of, hey, Belle, how you doing? So we have a lot of poop talks in our house. But, you know, if she feels like it's getting a little hard, then we up a ProBio that night, and maybe we'll stay there for a couple days, and then we'll back down to 2. And then we can stay there for a while. And sometimes that's also, you know, dependent on the diet. If she's not eating super healthy, then we'll need to up her BioCleanse. My little boy, Ian, he's only 3, and I was noticing that he was getting some eczema on his little tush. And instead of giving him, going to the doctor, I started giving him a ProBio at night. It cleared within 3 days. It was cleared up. So I also have had migraines since I was 9 years old. I'm 42, so I've had migraines for over 32 years. I've also experienced aura migraines, which are really scary. They're a lot like what are they called? A stroke. So they're very, very scary, and I've had those for about 12 years. And I'm telling you, about a month on Plexus, and I was migraine free. So that I will always take Plexus if for no other reason. My daughter is doing great, and I don't have migraines anymore. So
That's
Plexus
amazing.
has been a huge, huge blessing to the Lewiston family for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. Those are all dramatic. Like, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, like,
Huge.
when you get down to healing the gut, so many things are connected to our gut health. And
Yep.
so I love
I was
you.
literally popping 3 to 4 Advil, and chugging a Dr. Pepper every single day just to keep the migraines at bay. And I remember the first year, 2 years ago, it was the first year I homeschooled my kids, and I literally was teaching them from the couch. Like, I laid on the couch. Come to find out, I had thyroid issues as well. But just taking the Plexus started helping with that. And my kids are even like, Mom, don't ever stop taking Plexus. I became such a different mom afterwards. I was actually able to get off the couch. But my life completely changed.
That's amazing.
It was huge for us. Huge.
That's incredible. Those are the stories. I'm taking notes. I mean, those are issues where those things, migraines, thyroid issues, leaky gut, celiac, blood pressure, all those things come up almost every day to people. Yep. So it's so good to have your guys' testimony. And Barbara, I would just ask, like, do you want to share anything since you've been on it, on the products, how you're feeling or anything you've noticed? You want to take a minute and share? You don't have to, but you can if you want to.
Well, I noticed that I'm more regular and I'm more comfortable with the daily functions. It's just so much smoother and easier and not stressful. So that's a big thing. But the reduction in like your measurements or whatever, that was pretty noticeable pretty fast.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. Well, good. Well, so you've been doing this. You've been doing this for how long now?
Almost a year. I started in September. It seemed like about the time Nathaniel got married. I had just started taking it like right before that.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. It's just, I love it because it's an array of timelines and all that. It's just these products I feel really are a miracle to so many people, to so many of us. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Well, Allison, do you have anything you want to say or jump in and start with?
Well, I'm happy to start with whatever you want me to start with, but I'm really, really glad to. Barbara, I've never met you. And so even though I can't see you, you have a sweet Southern voice and I love it.
Yes.
So I'm really happy to finally connect with you. And I don't know who else is on the call. There's a 901 number.
That's Steve. He's on his
perfect. Okay. Yay, Steve. Hi. We love our men being on the call. So
we do.
I just wanted to tell you guys that, I think that these calls are so important. And I know Cindy's team is really rolling and growing and expanding. And I knew that would happen because she's awesome. She's a great leader. And I just want to tell you that being a part of this and actually seeing people and connecting, it feels to me like we're sitting across the table. Yeah. Well, we kind of are, but it feels like going to coffee or sitting across my kitchen table with people. And it's so much easier to pick up on personalities and visit this way than it is to text or whatever. So I just want to thank you all for being on here because for me, it's important. It's a great point of connection. But I just wanted to ask a quick question. I know that, Jen, you were working the business. I don't know, Barbara, I don't know if you're interested in the business, or Chad, where y'all stand with this. But one of the things I usually ask people is if I gave you a way to possibly earn enough money to pay for your products, would you be interested? And more times than not, I get a positive answer with that, because a lot of us, that would be, free product, or even if it's half the cost of your product, that's 50% discount. We already enjoy wholesale prices, which is huge. But getting your products paid for, or earning enough money to cover half the cost of your product is so much easier than you think. One of the things that I like to tell people is that if Facebook is such a great social media outlet for sharing what you're passionate about. A lot of people this time of year with all the political things, we see all kinds of people sharing things because they're passionate. They're passionate about the upcoming political elections. We know where they stand. And yes, it does get frustrating. However, Facebook is a great way to share that way. Texting, reaching out and having a relationship with people. So I just want to encourage you guys, Barbara, that was a great testimony. Like just being able to feel better, noticing decreased inches, your daily, just going through the day and knowing that things are going to work internally like they're supposed to work. There are so many people that we come into contact with that would choose that over weight loss even because they're miserable. They're absolutely miserable. They're taking meds for it. And so I just would encourage you guys to begin considering just reaching out to the people in your world. We all have friends and family who could benefit from our products. And this is the thing that I'm realizing is people are going to buy supplements. Most people are taking supplements. They're either purchasing it through Costco, they're getting it at Walgreens, GNC, little hometown, mom and pop places. And so one of the things that I would encourage you to do is just begin to take that step and reach out. I know Cindi has a lot of things on her team page that give you ideas on how to reach out authentically. Nobody wants to feel like they're being approached so you can peddle your wares. So I would begin with the people that you have authentic relationship with because they know you. They're going to trust you. And so I think that's a huge thing. So have any of you thought about doing that? Besides Jen and Cindi? Chad?
Yeah, sorry. I heard someone else coming up. That's why I was about to talk. I've talked to a few people that, my mom was the first one, obviously, but I've talked to a couple other friends that were interested. And one guy had to back out because he had to buy a car this summer.
Yeah.
And but just it's come up in a couple of conversations, and there's 3 people that I'm working on currently.
Yeah.
Just from relationships, kind of how I've always been, more
Absolutely.
than just a publicly, out there. And I noticed that it came up a lot, when I was doing other things, before Plexus. It just came up in conversation a lot. So I just had another way of offering something to somebody, something that worked for me. And so I've had a few of those conversations. Like I said, I've only been on 4 months, and I've talked to probably 4 or 5 people about it, that 2 are potentials, and 1 did join. So
yeah, and that's okay. It may just be timing.
Right.
I've done this for 2 years, and there are people that I started talking to 2 years ago, and they're still thinking about it. They're still, things happen in people's lives, and that's okay. It's like I think my response to people like that is, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. I'm still going to be taking the products. And so, throughout however long it takes, then, it's all good. And, one of the things that we find effective too, I have found effective with my team, are 3-way calls. Because I know at first, when I first started, I didn't know, I still don't know everything. I'm not a product expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I know a lot more now than I did. And some of that is due to being able to reach out to people on my team that I knew they were so much further down the road than me. And so, if you ever run into a situation that you maybe need some backup or need somebody who knows a little bit more, I know Cindy's great. She's so good at communicating with people, and you joined my team the same month I did. So you've done this for 2 years too. So that's a great tool to use. So anyway.
I think that's the thing is I feel like our team pages where we can ask questions and dialogue with each other. We don't have so much activity on our page. I would love to see that happen. I know Jen would too on her page, just to have questions, like to field questions, because I learned from Rhonda's page watching those questions go up. And then when Allison started having questions go up on hers, I would go through and scroll down, for the day and read through them, and then I'd read all the replies. I learned so much personally from the team pages, not just the files, not just going to the files, but reading the dialogues and the questions or the posts, reading looking at even just a 5-minute video or 10-minute video of something really helped me wrap my head around how to share and some of the product info. And also that we have so many people in our team pages that have lots of experience and have had encounters with some of the things that I needed help with, like medical questions, like, well, what do you do about this? And it was great to be able to, I learned a lot through those pages. I would love to see that happen, us using, 3-way calls, our team pages, as well as our, the quick start guide, those kind of things have some great information as the how-tos get started. We have so many resources. So what I thought was I was going to ask, just kind of open it. There's just a handful of us here. So what do y'all think the hardest thing that you've run into in your Plexus journey with sharing with people? What is the most significant thing that trips you up? Because I know for me, it's usually, and I'll call Allison, like, I felt like an idiot. I didn't know what to say. What did you say? What do you say? What's your verbiage? Like, I've learned so much from hearing and dialoguing with other people. Or reading, like I said, reading the feeds has helped me a lot. So those are really good tools. But what have you all found that, Chad, you've shared, Jen, you're sharing, I'm sure Barbara has shared, and Alice and I have shared, of course. So what do y'all feel like the most intimidating thing is when we're sharing?
Well, mine is the lack of knowledge, because I really don't have a lot of free time. And so, like, the one girl at work was already kind of familiar with Plexus and didn't have a dealer and just went randomly online and has ordered some product. But since then, she doesn't really want to change her account yet. She just doesn't want to mess with it because she just got married. She's moving, she's name, address, the whole 9 yards. So she's really not wanting to make changes. So she's just buying her product from me. So I just double my order or just order extra so that she can so that I can, whenever she needs it, so I'll have a little bit here of what she wants.
Well, one of the things for product knowledge, I know, but our product cards, I know y'all have these in our new ambassador kit, but these product cards are amazing because they're the main thing that we can compliantly share. Like, they give us what we can say on there. And I know what I love about it is it gives, if I pick the right card, pick a card, any card. Sorry, they're all scrambled up in here. Like, I love the pricing guide. You've got the pricing guide, but like Plexus Slim, it talks about guidelines for usage, but then it also has like ingredients, some of the name ingredients, what we can say to them. These things I feel like were a godsend because that's where I would get stumped up. And I know that anything I share on these cards is compliant and I'm allowed to say it. Because I will be honest, there's a lot of people out there, we see them on Facebook, and they're sharing away, but they're not sharing compliantly. And they're saying things that we can't say, and we do have to pay attention to being compliant and how the information that we can share. And, the Plexus Way, I know you all get the emails called the Plexus Way, where it's compliance telling us what we can say, how we can share, and I think it's important that but this is what I love about these cards is we know we're compliant when we share. Now we can share one-to-one, we can share about like, well, Slim has helped me with this. We just can't say Plexus Slim does this if it's not on the card, that it absolutely does this, because it might just be my experience and nobody else's. But I know that's one way of product, knowledge, of learning product knowledge. And do you guys hear my dog growling? My dog is snarling at me, wants to get out of my bedroom because somebody put him in here. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's one way. Also searching our team pages. Rhonda and Allison and I and Jen, we all have team pages where you can search, and there's you can put in the little search bar on those team pages, like you can put in Plexus Slim, and pretty much something that's compliant that we have posted will come up. And you can always use that information as a learning base too. I do that a lot, and I save those to my phone as notes if I find something that's really helpful to me. Allison, or Jen, what would you guys suggest as another option?
I was going to say too that there are really good ingredient posts that people will post, even in Facebook. And one of the things that I was just noticing the other day, I don't know, Chad, do you know what ingredient is in the Plexus Slim that actually helps with your blood pressure?
I think for me, it was the just the whole inflammation thing. So I guess it's the alpha lipoic acid.
The other day I saw a post about chlorogenic acid. Yes. Yes. And ours is sourced from green coffee beans. And so before they're roasted, they maintain that natural, it's an antioxidant called chlorogenic acid. And so there's less than 2% caffeine in green coffee bean extract. And so that's what the research suggests, is that it effectively helps to lower blood pressure. And so things like that, I will grab onto and just kind of keep note of, or keep something like that in a file. And
right there real quick. Sometimes just even Googling an ingredient that we have on our cards, like the ingredient list is chlorogenic acid, and just not even putting Plexus in the search bar for Google, but just putting chlorogenic acid, and all sorts of articles come up. I know that was a big way of learning for me.
Yeah.
I liked it because it was sourced outside of Plexus information, so that I was able to tell people, well, here's the research I've done. And research and medical studies find that chlorogenic acid. And that's authentically, we can stand on that. We're not just blowing smoke and saying just because Plexus says. So I think it's good. It's good to check those. You know, Plexus stays, they are so on top of everything and so above board on everything. But I think it's also good to do a Google search on ingredients, because I think it backs up everything that Plexus has said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback on one of the things you said, Cindi, about the team pages. You know, I read a quote the other day, and I don't even know who said it, but the quote says that the smartest person in the room is never as smart as all the people in the room. And input creates synergy, buy-in, and connection. And so I think that's really important as far as team pages go, because, you know, I don't know everything. I am not the smartest person in the room or in the Facebook group. Cindi is not the smartest person in the group, but it takes everyone. It takes all of us, because we all have different experiences. We all have a different story with the products, and you always have something to add. And so one of the things I think that's really important is when I go to search different team pages, like the Destination Diamond Dream Team is our big diamond upline team. And I know not everybody wants to be added to that group, and that's okay. However, for me, I can go to that group and type in anything in the search bar, and that is Celeste Gwynn's downline. So she, if you don't know, she's our only double diamond ambassador, and she's our upline. And so you can imagine how huge her team is and how many people are on that page. Well, anything that I type into that search bar, a lot of people are going to have a lot to say. And so I can get information that way. And so had those people not chosen to share or to weigh in on a question, that page wouldn't be populated with all of the information that so many of us need. And so when I think long-term for this team, I want to encourage you guys to, you know, be the leaders and comment and encourage one another. If somebody asks a question or posts a question and you know, comment the answers, because when you think long term, your team, this whole team, Cindy's team is not going to stop growing. It's going to keep going. And you're going to have people down the road, maybe some of your ambassadors that won't be able to get in touch with you, that will be able to check this team page for answers, just like we check team pages, if that makes sense. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Jen, did you have anything that you want to add to that? Okay. I think one of the other things I just wanted to touch base was about, like, I know it can be intimidating. Like, I love that Chad does, he shares and talks. We all share organically from relationship. And I think what gets hard is, and I know I've run into this with myself, is I get nervous. I was nervous to do this team call tonight. Like, I just was like in the bathroom, like, oh, I'm nervous. We just get nervous sometimes when we feel put on the spot. or like we're supposed to have all the answers. That's the awesome thing, is we don't have to have all the answers right now, because I know I can always get back to somebody. And I know in the beginning I was really intimidated, like I don't know everything now, so how can I even share? But I think we can learn as we're taking our products consistently and growing in product knowledge and growing in even team page like information like on how to share, and learning more information about what Plexus is, what Plexus isn't, how people share, and gleaning from all these different people that we have. That made me feel more confident. And then not feeling insecure, but being confident that if I don't have the answers, I don't have to have all the answers. I can say, Chad, I will get back with you on that. I know I've heard something about that, but I'm going to check with my upline Alice, and I'm going to ask her, and I'll get back with you. And then I do that, and you know what that does is it makes me know that I'm getting them the information they need. And the awesome thing is if Allison doesn't know, we've got an upline. We still have more uplines. We'll get to the answer that's needed. The awesome thing is we can also call corporate and ask if we have product questions. They have a product question line that we can tap into and ask them about, like, what does this ingredient do, or what does this product do specifically, if you need to use that. So I just want to encourage all of us. I know sometimes I never dreamed I'd be doing this. I told Alice in the beginning, there's no way I'll sell it, but I want to try it because I want to lose some weight. But I'm very grateful that it's really stretched me, and the people that I've been able to help, the people that have had health, like all of you guys. I listen to just, I know Jen and Chad on here who are directly people that I've sponsored, and just your families and your testimonies have impacted me. And it's like, what if we hadn't shared? Like, I think about that. What if Allison hadn't told me about it? I thought I was just going to lose weight, and my blood pressure went down. I was able to, because of the alpha lipoic acid in the Slim and the benefits of the probiotic helping with inflammation in my gut, I was able to go off pain pills for a chronic illness that I've had that creates pain and inflammation. That has totally rocked my world. And so I feel like we just need to get a boost of courage sometimes, and be willing to just step out there and share when we know that there is somebody that can be benefited, especially people that are friends and family. And you know what? This is the thing that I'm learning too. I'm learning to get big shoulders, that when they say no, even if they don't have a reason, they're like, that's dumb. To be like, okay, no big deal. I just wanted to share it with you. It was just on my heart, and I just wanted to share it. And I've had to walk away and then go to my car and be like, I feel dumb. I feel dumb. And then I'll be like, no, I don't, because look at Jen. Look at Jen and Bella. Their life was totally turned around. Chad's not on blood pressure medicine. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not on painkillers anymore and inflammation pills. I have a life back. And so then I'm like, no, I don't feel dumb at all. I feel empowered. I feel empowered to share and empowered to be the real deal and just share it organically and naturally. So I know you guys already do that, but I know there's lots of people that might be watching this later that follow behind us that, they're new and they are thinking, oh, what do I say? How do I do it? You just share your story. You share those that have a story. And
I'll even piggyback on that.
Oh, Allison, unmute. Yeah.
I heard an analogy about that at a Leslie Zan conference. It was a network marketing thing, and she gave this analogy, and she worked for a completely different company. So this is how I know that it's not just us that think that way. It's everybody when it comes to stepping out and sharing. But have you ever gone to let's say Perkins? Just because, you've gotten breakfast, and the waitress comes and wants to pour coffee in your coffee cup. And what do you usually do if you don't want coffee? You put your hand over the coffee cup. So that indicates, no, I don't want coffee right now. Well, the waitress doesn't walk away feeling dumb or insecure or insignificant because something's wrong with her coffee. Something's wrong with her. What happened? Why didn't they want coffee? It's just you don't want coffee at that time. But she keeps going to the next table or to the next person at your table and fills up their coffee. And so that's kind of what we have to remember, is we have to know that not everybody's going to want our coffee. Not everybody's going to be at the place right now where they're ready for Plexus, and we just move on to the next person or the next, if it comes up in conversation, or if you hear someone talk about, maybe a family member talk about how they just don't have energy, or, something's going on in their life, and you have the possibility that they could get some relief with that, well, you move on to that next person. You don't get hung up on the one person who didn't want your coffee.
Right.
And so that really helped to set me free a lot because, I thought something was wrong with me. People didn't want the coffee. So
it's not a personal rejection. Even if people we might feel dumb by the way they respond. Usually people respond that way out of their own, they feel awkward. And so they don't know how to respond. And so I've learned to just be like, no, it's just got to be no big deal. No problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it takes like 7 offers.
Yeah. It takes multiple encounters.
Yes. And then they're ready for coffee. So
I think I'll have a cup.
Yeah.
The other thing I just wanted to mention real quick was, I know we've talked about the Frank's list before, about making a list of potential customers or people you might feel that would be good ambassadors. And in the beginning, I felt really awkward about that. This is for all the newbies. I felt really awkward, just write down people's names. That's embarrassing. Just going to write down their name. But you know what I realized? I wrote down the names. I made myself do it. I wrote down their names. And I have pretty much in 2 years gone through my list and contacted those people in some way, shape, or form in just genuine relationship. They have watched my posts and they usually ask me. This is the amazing thing. The people that I wrote down, I've stayed in connection with, and they've come and asked me. And so my thing is when we have the opportunity, those people that we love, our friends and our family who we're sharing our lives with, they're watching our journey, they're watching our story. And so even if they don't ask us, I think to keep a list going and to be able to refer back to it and follow up. You may not, in the beginning, I will tell you, I was not sure how often do you follow up? I don't know. But you know what, following up, once a month even, until they tell you, I really don't think I'm interested at all, then I just would casually now and then bring it up. Maybe every couple months, maybe they'll comment on a post or something. I'll say, I'm still here for you, still waiting. I know you said you're interested. And I think that's another thing is we can't prejudge or assume. And I think I did a lot of that in the beginning. I know I've talked to Jen about that and Allison, I prejudged a lot, and I was like, they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to do that. And Allison has challenged me in that the most, and just say, we can't prejudge that. We don't know that. They might want to do that. And I've been so surprised about the people who have said, you know what, I really do want to try that. And so don't be afraid to just have kind of a running list. I'm not saying do a running list and hand out flyers like a crazy person at the market, whatever. But I'm saying have a list of people and kind of keep track when you're sharing with them, because I've had people that I shared with in the beginning and I didn't share with them again, and they signed up and were somebody else's customer within 6 months because I didn't follow up. And so that was one thing that I had to learn, is it's okay to follow up, and really if you're doing it within the confines of a relationship anyway, that's not awkward. That's just basic, just touching base with you, checking back, seeing if you might think that you're, want to give it a try. We're running a special, or I can help you get started. So those things were intimidating to me when I was a newbie. I was really intimidated by that. So I've learned that's part of just caring for people, is just following back up and not letting a year go by or 6 months, but every little bit touch base with them and just see, in genuine relationship though, we talked about our team pages. Oh, events. I know Memphis, you guys have a second Monday. You guys have events there. We have events here in Austin, but they are on the other side of the city, and it's very difficult to get to where we are down there by the right time. And I would have to leave at 2 p.m. and then camp down there the rest of the time. I'm gonna get to one at some point. I'm gonna be able to make one that is closer in town. But a lot of the local events that you guys have in Memphis. Is it the second Monday of each month?
We do. For the Memphis area ambassadors, we have the second Monday of each month. It's actually, Chad could walk to it. It's pretty much in his backyard. It's the Germantown. The Germantown. The Great Hall. It's called the Great Hall. And this is something that we recently started, and I don't know how often we'll do this, but Lance and I decided to do just a team-wide Plexus pop-in, sip and see, whatever you want to call it, at our house for some of my team members, just to give the opportunity for them to bring people to, because some people might rather do that than go to an actual meeting at, some place that they're not familiar with. So, that's an idea too, is to open up your home and do something like that, because it would be like sitting down. One of the things that I'm realizing is I wish I had known when I had first started that I didn't have to have a 10-point PowerPoint presentation. I didn't have to know everything there was about every product. I could just sit down with people, even in my own home, and give out samples of the Slim and talk about what it's done for me and what it's done for other people.
Like we're doing tonight.
Do what?
Like we're doing tonight.
Exactly. It is simple. Yes. Another thing that we're going to start doing, and this is an opportunity for you guys, is like a Zoom meeting like this, but an opportunity meeting. So if I were conducting this maybe for Cindi and Chad and Jen, and you guys each brought one prospective customer to the Zoom call, I would probably start off and speak about 15 minutes just about the triplex, because the triplex really and truly, those are the foundational products that most everybody needs, because it addresses all the issues that are going to help balance your body. And then, so a lot of people are doing that, and then maybe having a couple of ambassador testimonies, and then it opens the rest of the Zoom call for questions from people who are just our customers, prospective customers or ambassadors. And here's another thing, and I don't know if y'all know this, but when you are hosting something like this, you can open a chat box. Do y'all see that chat box? Okay, I just sent a message to y'all. It says, I have a question. Yeah. And so if somebody is shy and doesn't necessarily want to say anything out loud, let's say, Chad, you brought Tammy, and Tammy is worried about, asking something by herself on the call, you can change your chat box. You can privately send a message and say, I have a question, and I just sent you that chat. And so then you could ask on her behalf. And so the great thing about that, I think, is that it brings people, and they don't have to leave their home. They don't have to go to my house. They don't have to go to your house. They don't have to go to the Great Hall. And it's 30, 40 minutes tops. It's such an easy way just to sit down and talk about the products. And then that person would get with the person who brought them for any other questions. So that's another idea for those of you who have people in your life that, you're still working with, and you just don't feel like you have enough information for them or anything. That it's going to be a great tool.
It is. That's awesome. Tonight, I'm sending my message now. There we go. There we go.
Yes, you're welcome.
Grazie, namaste. Yeah, all of those tools. What I love about them is we have to increase how we do this with the times, and social media is part of how people connect, and chat boxes and messaging and all that. So we got to use what we got. Another thing I wanted to mention was YouTube videos. YouTube videos are another thing I try to watch every week. I know Allison and Jen do too. There's so many great ones. I mean, I could just go on for absolute hours talking about them. Sarah Marble is amazing. Melissa Eichenhorst, Lori Harrison, Jen Hawkins, Sonia Dudley, Ame Darling, Jennifer Pickett. There are so many people that have really amazing information and who have been doing this the whole time, and who have jumped in years before us, and who have a lot of information. And they talk, you can just Google somebody's name, or just Google Plexus and a question, like Google how to do an opportunity meetings. Information will come up on YouTube that you can watch. And Barbara, here's another thought. I know that you were saying you don't have a lot of time for learning additional information. That might be something, just to listen to while you're getting your makeup on, or while you're doing something else, or getting ready for work or whatever. I know that's what I do. Sometimes I just have it going, and I'm not necessarily taking notes, but I'm getting it in me. And because sometimes I'm a note taker, I'm a ridiculous, crazy note taker. But sometimes I also just have stuff going, so I'm learning it. And then I remember, it comes to me when we're talking about, like, oh, I just heard a video, or so that's another. There's so many different people. I'll post a page that has some links, really good YouTube videos.
And
yeah.
Here's another good idea. If you have a prospective customer and you feel like maybe you don't know enough about maybe the ProBio 5, I send out Ame Darling is my favorite because she's a master nutrition therapist, and just her way of communicating is so easy for me to understand. It's just, I don't feel like she talks in all these high-end words. I don't want to say she dumbs it down, but I feel like that's kind of how she explains things, so I can understand it. But I sent, she has an updated ProBio 5 YouTube video, and I sent to like 3 of my customers. I've got one who's having really bad die-off, just because I know that I am inadequate in explaining exactly what's going on. I can do my best, but for example, if Barbara, you were saying a while ago that you've got a gal that you didn't quite know, enough. Well, she has a great video, Ame Darling, and it's spelled Aimee, but she pronounces it Ame, on the triplex. And I have sent that out to a lot of people because it's a great overview of exactly what those 3 products do. So one-on-one, it's a great tool to use also.
I was going to agree. I was going to suggest that as well. So thank you for saying that. I forgot earlier, but definitely emailing information like that, or sending a link to something, even in a message or just a text, because it gives people quick access. I think that's what I love about, we don't have to even have formal emails. We can just send a quick text like, hey, I found this, YouTube video that might be helpful to you. And then they can click right on it. It takes it right to them. And so that's another tool and a resource where I really appreciate the ease of it.
Cindi, I was going to say too that I will also send people to my website because I have like a nurse right now who she's interested in our ProBio 5. Well, she's not a nurse, but she's going to school to be a nurse, so she's very into the information. And so I've sent her to my website, and I've told her that the ingredient list is actually on our website, so she could look through that, and then she can go and Google. She'll probably know what most of those ingredients are because she's in nursing school. But that also gets them to our website, which then allows them then to look through the products, encourages them. Now they're starting to get familiar with our website, which is always a really good, a good thing. Because she wanted a pamphlet, and I'm like, well, I don't really have a pamphlet, but so getting them to the website, and then also, getting them, a YouTube video or whatnot, I think is.
That's brilliant. Yes, that's absolutely. Getting them to our website. They have done so much to update our website, y'all. I know y'all know that. The back office, the knowledge base that's in our library, the shareables that is now available under tools, that stuff is like valuable because it's all compliant Plexus information that comes straight from the top. So that's great, Jen. And they've made them very, very modern. They've really tweaked things, and the system from 2 years ago is what we have now is really cutting edge, and I love that we get to be a part of that. Do you guys have any questions? Is there any questions or something you want to share, or from any of you? Anybody? It's been great. I mean, there's just been a handful of us, but it's been great to get to dialogue, and which is different than if we'd had a bunch of us on here. So I've loved it.
I want to mention real quick. I know, especially for Barbara, because she's my downline, but we talked about the Zoom meetings, and I was on that call with Rhonda, which was really, really good, by the way. If anybody on my downline wants to do any of those Zoom meetings, I'm assuming, that you guys would be available to do those as well. But Barbara, if there's, somebody that you wanted to do a Zoom meeting with, please let me know or Cindi know. We would love to jump on that with you. So I don't want you to feel like you have to have all that information and would have to know all of that, but that you could do a Zoom meeting, invite, 1 or 2 people who you think might be interested in the products. And then Cindi and I could even just run that meeting for you. And you can, be there, and you can say, hey, come and hang out with us. And it would basically be this, but Cindi and I would share the products and the information, and even share the opportunity. Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that it doesn't have to be something that would be, would feel maybe even scary, but that would be something that, Cindi and I could do for you.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. The thing I love about the Zoom meetings is it can just be one or two, or it can be a bunch. I mean, it can be as big or as long as you need it to be. It's really a great tool. And what I love, like Allison said, it's you see each other. We can also do the shared screen where we share screen and look in our back office. There's so many opportunities to like really use it as a training tool, just to even help a customer or somebody, another ambassador or a team. So however, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Anybody else? We got about 5 minutes. It's been great. I've loved this. I did not follow my notes, of course, but I feel like we covered a lot of stuff. We covered a lot of stuff that I feel like, you know, is relevant to everybody who's here. So I'm going to try and do another Zoom meeting. I probably am not going to do one next month. Maybe in September I'll do another one. But so. Go ahead.
Our big team one, we have one coming up this Sunday night. So
Sunday, yeah. And 8:30. 8:30.
8:30. Mm-hmm.
So that'll be posted in Allison's team page. Yes. So, yes. Oh, that's great, Barb. I'm so glad to see your piece of paper. I'm so glad to see your piece of paper today. And I didn't get to see your face, but I know who you are. I've looked at your pictures. I've stalked your Facebook and liked your stuff. And even though I can't see you, I'm just so grateful you were here. I know it's a big sacrifice of everybody's time. So if we don't have anything else, if everybody else is good, then we'll just wrap it up. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for taking time out of your night. I know everybody's so busy. It means a lot. It means a lot that y'all showed up and would just let us just sit and encourage you, hopefully, and dialogue. And you guys have encouraged me for sure.
Great job, Cindi. Thank you
so much.
Thank you, y'all. Okay, thank you.
Great job, Cindi.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Bye.